Yes, it is another episode of Bell&Company. We're back this week. We took a little break last week.
The week from hell.
Yeah, it really was. I don't know if this is Mario J. Bella here. That was Libby talking, and we got Joe with us. Hey, Joe. Hey, Libby.
What's
Hi.
happening?
I don't know about Joe, but I know Libby had some stuff going on, and
I got sick all week actually, and I had to call a day out of work.
Look at this. What was the drama?
We all cursed?
I don't know. I had no wheels for a day, and then my dad was in the hospital, but he's fine. I got wheels back. You're feeling better.
Yeah.
Libby, are you all right? Everything's okay?
I almost got in the gulag I'm coming back from Russia.
Yeah.
My
Libby
hat
is
my
Libby's
Ushka hat.
a firecracker. So it was an interesting week there. So maybe it's a good thing we were on the air. We've been I don't know, suffering from
we'd be in big trouble.
What do they call that when you're feeling something after an accident? Post-traumatic stress. Thank you.
Oh yeah, I know all about that. Believe me, I've been in enough car accidents.
Oh, she's actually been in car accidents that gave her it. There you go.
Yeah.
But anyway, another cool thing we did. Actually, Libby didn't make it, but Joe was there yesterday. We got to see a nationally touring play that's pretty awesome. I couldn't believe how great the effects were. I felt like we were in a movie at one point.
It was wicked. I'm not gonna lie. The time travel in the new Harry Potter and the Cursed Child play in Chicago at the
Nederlander Theater.
Yeah, Nederlander Theater.
It was phenomenal, and
it's a cool place.
I had trouble hearing it a little bit, but I think that's just because we were in the bleeder seats. You're all the way at the top.
I heard it pretty well. So
yeah,
I don't know.
Maybe I'm just going deaf.
Yeah, one of the characters talked really fast, so it's hard to catch up on.
That's the one
what
I couldn't understand
saying.
most of the time.
Yeah.
It was fun though. I mean, the special effects were really awesome. I mean, they moved so fast with moving the sets around. I couldn't believe how quickly they did it.
Yeah, it's because they have like 20 stagehands on stage, like all wearing black. So
yeah, they were wearing the capes
on them.
They were wearing the capes that kind of look like they're Harry Potter. The school student. What's the name of the school again?
Hogwarts.
Yeah, Hogwarts. Thank you.
Yep.
But great thing. So we did that, and today we're doing the show to recap all that. And then we also have a really cool guest on who we were talking off the air is we have some stuff in common. So we can bring him on the air now. Let's welcome him to the show. Hey, Chris.
What's going on, guys? How you doing?
Good. Your full name again is Chris what? Simpson. Yep. And the reason that we know you is, like I said, we have some stuff in common. We're both in the broadcast industry.
We are, and thank you guys for having me.
No problem.
Glad to have you, brother.
I want to hear some picks, and then it turns out Joe knows you too. I mean, you talk about a small world.
It really is.
We actually went to the same trade school in Chicago, and so did the owner of the station. But it wasn't called what it's called now. It was a better name, in my opinion. It was called the Illinois Center for Broadcasting, which I always thought it made me feel so cool. Oh, I went to the Center of Broadcast Media.
And now I think it's referred to as the Illinois Media School.
It is.
If I'm not mistaken.
It is, and they have more campuses now. I think they only had 1 or 2 back in the day. Now they've got like 8 across the country.
Wow, that's pretty wild.
Right.
Yeah, they've grown quite a bit. But I've got my first job, and I honestly think one of my best jobs in the industry right out of the trade school. Actually, I was still in trade school when I got it, so I got to give them props for that. I don't know how did you do when you got right out of school? Did you get your dream job right away?
Not right away, but you just have to work at it. You know what I'm saying? Nothing's given to you.
That's
actually a year after I graduated, I ended up working at ICB, as I'm gonna always call it. I ended up working there as a grad assistant.
Oh well, that's good too. That's a good job.
Yeah, it wasn't bad because in order for you to be a grad assistant and to get hired on as a grad assistant, you had to be placed somewhere. And I had a couple of journalism jobs, a couple of journalism gigs here and there. And, they counted that. So it was a pretty cool experience. And to be honest with you, after I graduated, I was still there because there was still a couple of shows I was contributing for. I was still taking advantage of the studio time and just using the resources. And I was pretty much there every Friday for a first show.
Well, they had the shows. See, they didn't do that when I was there. They did the live radio days, but they didn't have like an internet radio station back then. So that's pretty cool that you even had that opportunity.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
I didn't even get that.
It definitely was. So I just took full advantage of everything. I truthfully wouldn't be in the position I'm in right now if it weren't for the Illinois Center for Broadcasting. They taught me so much, the ins and outs of the industry, and hopefully down the road, and I have been able to, I'll be able to kind of teach what they taught me.
You're in New York now, right? You're not in Illinois.
I am. I'm originally from New York City. I left Illinois in 2022, and I've had a blast being back home. I mean, New York City really is the city that never sleeps.
Dun, 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 dun. I mean, I believe that. I've never been to New York. I've never been in the state. I've been to Jersey.
I got mugged in New York on a choir trip for Plainfield North.
There's Joe's great experience. Yeah, but you had some good food before you got mugged.
Of course I did, but I mean, Chicago's food's better all day. I'm not gonna.
Oh, we could fight about that all day. Because I kind of agree. I was in Jersey, so I was close enough. I love
New York though.
Right
it's
over
cool
the border.
City.
I think I flew into JFK and then I got limoed over to Jersey.
Oh, really?
Yeah, pretty sure. Awesome. You don't. I don't know. Is there an airport even in New Jersey? I don't even know. I think so.
There is. There's the one in Newark.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Newark.
Yeah, I didn't go to that one. I went to JFK. So anyway, but you're a New York boy. You came to Chicago just to then go to school. Tell us about how this all came together.
I moved to Illinois when I was 9 years old. I really didn't have a say in the choice.
You're much younger.
So, yeah, and then stayed there for quite some time, and then just decided it was time to make that move, and it's probably been one of the best decisions I could have made.
That's so awesome.
I enjoyed my time in Illinois. I'm not going to deny that, but sometimes.
What are you doing exactly? We didn't really get into that. We started right into like a little history and connection there. But what is your big break in the New York area or New York City area?
Wow, what would I say? I would say going to the NFL on Fox pregame show on Thanksgiving last year. I went to the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, which was pretty cool.
Wow.
But, just going to the NFL on Fox, I didn't know it was even going on that day. I was walking a little up the street and I stopped and I see the NFL on Fox logo. And, all of a sudden I see Michael Strahan and Rob Gronkowski, all of them. Howie Long, Kurt Menefee, and all of them. And I was pretty close to the set, and I met Strahan actually, and took a picture with him.
Yeah, I saw that picture.
Said, hey, Mike, can we get a picture? He's like, yeah, definitely.
You weren't working with him. You just happened to be there telling him, hey, man, I'm a fellow broadcaster thing, right?
Right. I just happened to be there just kind of sink that in and just take in that experience. So that was a lot of fun. I met Jay Glazer as well. He was pretty cool. We talked for a couple minutes, and then meeting Rob Gronkowski was pretty cool as well. And you just don't realize like how big he is until you're right up on him, because he made me feel like more of a strength than I already am.
Well, they're like what, 6'3", 6'5", somewhere in there, right? 300 pounds.
So Strahan is about 6'5". Strahan's a tall guy, and he's always been a pretty big guy, but Gronk made him look little.
What?
Oh man, I didn't know he was that tall. I knew he was big. He's bigger than his quarterback he was protecting. Obviously,
he's a tank.
Who is also tall. Tom Brady's pretty tall too. So.
Yeah, he's pretty tall.
Yeah, and I actually, it's funny you bring him up, because there was an event that happened in New York a couple of years this past summer actually, called the Fanatics Fest. Michael Rubin and it was like hundreds of athletes. You name it, they were there. Derek Jeter. David Ortiz, Tracy McGrady, Kevin Garnett, Allen Iverson, just so many.
Iverson
was there.
Oh, that's cool.
Iverson was there.
And what were you doing there? Again, as a fan, or were you reporting on it at that point?
It was. I was enjoying it as a fan, because I met quite a few people there as well. Like I met Jay Williams, who used to play for the Chicago Bulls, the one who was in a motorcycle accident.
Yep.
In 2003. Yeah, I met him.
That's like 20 years
cool
ago.
Guy. Yeah, I met Mad Dog Russo. He was cool. Who
Yeah,
else?
he's a character.
Yeah,
I forget how
no, he
long
was a
he's been
pretty-
in
he was a-
broadcasting.
he was a pretty pleasant guy, though, nonetheless.
Well, he's big now. He's on
and-
Sirius and another network. I don't remember where he's at.
Yeah. There was another. There's an auditorium where the Fanatic Fest was being held, and Stephen A. conducted a few interviews, and he actually conducted one with Tom Brady, and that was pretty cool. Just kind of being in there with a legend and a guy who's been labeled to be the greatest quarterback of all time. You know, that was a lot of fun, and just hearing him share his knowledge and how he went about business as a player and how he was taking on talking about his next chapter, which was, you know, being a lead game analyst and calling games in the booth.
Were you
so
there
that
kind
was
of
pretty
like
fun.
taking notes and getting ready to talk with, get these guys as guests for your shows and for the blog to write about them?
Not necessarily. It was a mix of networking. So putting my brand out there and, you know, telling people about my site, meeting people, you know, getting subscribers and, you know, just kind of soaking everything in. So it was the mix of living life and networking at the same time.
No doubt. So you host Monday Evening Quarterback, right?
I do.
Yeah, and then what's your other things you're involved in? You got a blog and some other things going on too?
I do. I started Monday Evening Quarterback September 13th, 2021. Look, I had gone on other people's podcasts for the longest, and people were like, well, why don't you just start your own? And
it's a lot of work. That's why, right?
I mean, look, nothing's ever
If you love what you
a
do.
lot of work. If you love what you do,
True.
and if you put forth the effort, you are going to get a lot out of it. That's the best piece of advice I think I could give to anyone who's looking to break into the industry. It was first a visual podcast, so you would see me. I had it on YouTube, and then I also contribute to a few other shows as well. I contribute to one called The Prime on Prime Sports World. That's with a few great guys, TJ Hopkins, David On Point Huffman, Israel Rivera, and Matt James. I'm on there every Monday night and Tuesday night.
Awesome.
That's cool.
On a show called The Betting Window. It used to be called The Nerd Zone, but they changed it. I'm on a show called The Betting Window. I
wonder why they changed that.
Yeah, I have no idea either. I don't ask questions. I just show up.
I like the new name. I think I get more what they're doing.
Yeah, I contribute to that every Wednesday night.
Wow.
Thursdays, I contribute to a show called Snowman in the Morning with Brian Snow. He kind of started his own thing, Snowman Multimedia Group, and we finally had the chance to work with one another this year. And then Fridays, I contribute for a show called College Football Showdown. College Football Showdown, it is on Prime Sports World, the same network as the Prime, with Israel Rivera and Matt James. So I make my rounds.
Yeah,
I see.
That's a lot.
I didn't see all that in the info bio. That's pretty awesome. So you definitely like your sports, obviously.
Grinding. That's cool.
Definitely. I mean, the busiest
And grinding,
time of the year. Yeah. Look, football's been a big part of my life for a little over 20 years. I mean, just growing up, watching the sport, having played it, and now being able to discuss it and talk about it. It's been a dream come true for me.
You played at North, right? I think I watched you play.
No, I didn't. So when I first started playing, Joe, I started in Naperville with the Naperville Youth Football League. Yeah, I started there my first year, and then I stayed with them, and I played on a traveling team my second year, which was in middle school, 2004. And then I played in high school. I played Phil Central, but unfortunately, I got hurt. And
that was all Naperville, Illinois area you're talking about.
Right. But then, unfortunately, I ended up messing up my leg. And I still wanted to be involved in the sport in some way, shape, form, and capacity. So, I started watching a lot of these pregame shows a lot just to see how they talked about it. And just loving the game. I mean, I grew up in an era where you were actually able to hit people on a football field. Now,
Yeah.
you sneeze on a quarterback, and he's getting a flag every single time in his favor, because the game now has maximized things for offenses, and it's minimized the way defenses can attack and play, if you ask me.
It's true though.
But I started what I'm doing September 6th, 2010. So next year we'll make 15 years in the industry.
Wow.
That's awesome. Dude.
I'll tell you what, talking about being able to hit, it's nothing like the 85 Bears season where everybody was like, that was, unless you're dying, you're playing.
Or even back to the Urlacher days. I mean, that defense was prime too.
Fast forward another, about 15 years or so.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And I'll tell you guys, the best defense I ever saw with my own two eyes was the 2000 Baltimore Ravens. I mean,
those Ravens.
Listen, they were hitting people in the mouth, and that to me is what turned Ray Lewis into the legend that he is now.
Didn't they have a Super Bowl shuffle that year? Like, didn't the Ravens? They made made like a second version.
Shuffle of the Bears, yeah.
I don't know if it was a shuffle, but I do remember Brian Billick banning the word playoffs until they actually clinched the playoff spot. And
what year was that again? That would have been like 2000.
2000.
Yeah, 2000.
Okay. Yep. Boy, you're aging us over here. That seems like yesterday to me.
Yeah, look, I'm aging myself.
I feel you.
Awesome. So you basically focus on football mostly when you're talking about sports and stuff.
Correct. The NFL and college football.
But you'll talk about any sports with somebody that wants to, maybe comment on your blog or something. You don't mind if it's just football. I mean, if it's not just football.
If it comes up, I'll admit to you, there's been some other topics that I've touched upon. Like, I remember giving my thoughts on the late Kobe Bryant, the day he was killed, unfortunately. Because, that, even Bill Russell, when he passed away, just kind of paying homage to those legends.
Yeah. So you mostly focus on football, like NFL stuff, right? Maybe college. Right. I noticed on your site you're talking about college betting and stuff. So at least you shared some stuff about it. So you talk college too?
I do. When I first started, I was just analyzing the NFL, and then I found myself watching College Game Day a little more, and by 2012, I just decided to include college football into, my daily routine of previewing games. So I preview between 5 to 7 games a week.
Oh, wow.
Depending on the magnitude of the schedule, what's standing out to me. And I usually do 2 on a regular week. I do 2 college games and 3 NFL games, or sometimes it'll be 3 NFL games, 3 college games, and 2 NFL games. So
who's your
really
favorite?
Depends on the schedule.
Okay.
Who's your favorite college quarterback as of right now?
Speaking of college.
Wow, that's a good question.
I just figured I'd ask that. Since you got Monday evening quarterback, might as well ask, right?
Cam Ward of Miami was pretty fun to watch. He's electric. He can move the ball down the field. He could push the ball up the field. Great in the pocket, moves out the pocket. He was good. Obviously, I think I'd be crazy if I didn't mention Shedeur Sanders. He was good at Colorado this year. When he's healthy, he was actually my pick to win the Heisman. This year. And that was Quinn Ewers at Texas. He kind of reminds me a little bit of Phillip Rivers.
You didn't like Terry, the guy that they picked from Colorado?
I mean, look, he wasn't bad. Look, Shedeur, I thought has all the attributes. He can, he can move in the pocket. He can move up in the pocket when pressure is coming his way. He spreads the ball around. He throws a pretty pass. He steps in to all his passes, and I love to see what he could do at the next level.
I mean, my brother would disagree with you because he's a Prime fan and he went to the University of Colorado, so he's biased. So my brother is happy, I'll tell you that. But I like when the Notre Dame guys win because a lot of my friends from my high school ended up in Notre Dame, and two of our alumni at my high school actually won the Heisman. So there you go. I'm more partial to Notre Dame than anywhere.
I love Notre Dame. So circling back though to Tom Brady, because you said something about like when you brought up like how he thinks he's the greatest of, but
the goat of football.
You made me think that. What's your thoughts on GOAT weighing in? Like, do you think he's the GOAT of quarterbacks in the NFL, or do you? Okay.
What about a GOAT period? Just the greatest of all time.
Absolutely.
Like then you got to mix in Jordan and everything, right?
So look, he's definitely the greatest quarterback ever, and it's because the bigger the stage and the brighter the lights, the better he was. Like nothing ever fazed him.
That's true.
Montana, Namath, who else? Let's see, some Heisman, some big time. Johnny Unitas. Who else? Let's see. Who's the? He played for Indianapolis, and his brother played for
Manning.
Yeah, Manning. Thank you. The Mannings. I think Archie might argue with you, but go ahead. I'm listening.
No, I mean with Tom Brady, you look at it. Never really had a quote unquote outside of Randy Moss, a Hall of Famer that he consistently threw the ball to. Peyton Manning had Marvin Harrison and Reggie Wayne, who I think is going to be a Hall of Famer very soon.
Yeah, Reggie,
I
guess that's the rumor.
Brady, but Brady was throwing the guys like Wes Welker and Julian Edelman, Danny Amendola. I mean, Brock wouldn't be.
If we look at the record, I guess Brady would probably be the top in terms of most passes. No, you're saying no?
No, I agree with you completely. I mean, to me, he was dominant each year when he was with New England. You could pretty much pencil him in, not only to win the division, but at least get a first round bye. And he's one of the last 4 quarterbacks standing, whether he was in the AFC. And then I think what kind of made people respect him a lot more was the simple fact of first year going to Tampa Bay and winning the Super Bowl.
I mean, that was
so cool.
I didn't think that was going to happen. We were betting on it. In fact, Libby can interject here. We like to gamble. Do you did you bet on Tom Brady winning the Super Bowl?
If I was a big gambler, like I only do slot machines.
Yeah, she does slots now. She doesn't really bet on sports.
If I was a big gambler, yes, of course, Tom Brady.
But I did. I bet on him, so I was happy. But yeah, I mean, I guess to be the GOAT, I mean, it's not just maybe statistics, but just what you do outside of your job. How long you play, I guess, because was Montana, and I forget who was the longest quarterback. You'll know this better than us, Chris. Who was the longest playing quarterback in the NFL?
I want to say it's Brady because he did 23 years.
Yeah, I think it is.
He did the 20 with New England, and then he did 3 with Tampa Bay, and then he decided to call it a career. I mean,
not really. Now he's an NFL analyst, but I get right. Playing though,
Listen. He walked out on his own terms.
It's the way to do it.
Around the time when he retired, he really had nothing left to prove. He won 7. He won 3 MVPs. He won plenty of Super Bowl MVPs, and he pretty much retired amongst.
I know Namath, Montana, they're up there too, but I don't remember how long Montana played. Definitely not as long as Brady.
I guess if you could rank it top 3, who's your top 3 quarterbacks of all time?
Wow! Oh, you're putting me on the spot.
I know, right?
He did. Joe likes to do that.
Well, the 3 best that I've seen with my own 2 eyes, Tom Brady at number 1 for everything that I just mentioned. I mean, the bigger the stage, the brighter the lights, truly the better he was.
No doubt.
Yeah, he's definitely number 1. Number 2 is Peyton Manning. I mean, Peyton to me.
Okay.
Peyton to me.
Because of Denver or Indianapolis? Which one?
Indianapolis.
I mean, a mix of both. If we're being real, because look, from 2003 to 2010, Peyton Manning was the most dominant player in the league. I mean,
I could
that
tell
was
you
his
guys are
prime.
younger because I mean you're forgetting about everybody from the 60s and 70s, you know. But anyway, go ahead.
But I wasn't around. That time.
Yeah, come on, bro.
Exactly.
I wasn't even a
You
glimmer in
guys
my
gotta
father's
be,
eye.
You guys got to be looking at stats too, not just your
Yeah.
favorites. Okay, I guess it's his favorites though. It's Chris's
I mean,
Chris's version of the favorite three. Okay, go ahead.
look with Peyton Manning. Peyton is arguably the smartest football player I've ever watched.
Very
with
smart.
my own two eyes. How he was audibling at the line of scrimmage, changing plays. If
True.
he saw you had a 2-year corner on a 12-year wide receiver, he's capitalizing upon that mismatch right then and there. I mean, he made everybody around him better. And what kind of strengthens his case to be one of the greatest ever. Look at what he did when he went to Denver, because it was the same group of wide receivers, Demaryius Thomas, Eric Decker.
Was.
He got Eric Decker paid. He helped get Demaryius Thomas paid. And to this very day, Peyton Manning puts together the greatest season I've ever seen from a quarterback in 2013. He threw 55 touchdown passes, and that was the last that we saw of, I guess, Peyton being Peyton, because after that, he wasn't the same. I mean, I don't know if it was age catching up with him.
What
really
about his
couldn't throw
injuries? His injuries?
Yeah, it was the injuries. You know, he lost arm strength, and pretty much the year he retired when the Broncos won the Super Bowl, he was a game manager. They didn't need him to take games over like he did. And I just think there was a lot of wear and tear on his body. So those are the two best I've seen. But now you need a third.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I agree. Okay, so number 3. I can't wait to hear this one. By the way, we're talking with Chris Simpson. He's an analyst and has his own blogs and on several radio shows. But go ahead. We're in the number 3 of the best NFL quarterbacks of all time, in Chris Simpson's opinion.
That I've seen, honestly, wow. I may have to say Drew Brees, and here's why.
Okay.
New Orleans is gonna.
I like him. I like him a lot. I really
New
do.
Orleans is gonna, yeah.
I think he should have kept playing.
Nah, he couldn't. He had no arm strength. It was almost like watching Peyton.
He was running
all
out
over again. It was, it was almost like watching Peyton Manning all over again.
Well, he didn't have to play every game when he came back. They could have rehabbed him a little longer, but okay. All right, I'll go with you. You're the expert here. I'm just a radio host.
With Drew Brees is the most prolific passer in NFL history. And he knew how to, as I call it, overthrow a receiver. So if a receiver was covered, he would slightly overthrow the ball and put it only the way his receiver could get it. He was a leader. He was a voice in the locker room, and he truly put Saints football on the map. And it didn't matter who you were. If you could get open, he was getting you the football. Those are the 3 best I've seen with my own 2 eyes.
Nice.
Okay.
I like that. I like that.
That's a good list, especially for modern time. But like I thought I was going to hear Montana.
You're old.
I guess I am. Or
You know
like
what's
I
weird?
said, Johnny Unitas from the 70s. I mean, I am older.
You know
Namath, come on.
Kind of weird is that Eli win more than Peyton?
I was just going to say, what about the brother? What about Eli?
Well, he wasn't.
Manning?
He only had those two the Super Bowls, and then he was like horrible the rest of the time. Is what
Eli or Peyton? Which one were we talking about? Eli.
Eli.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, maybe that's why. I think you answered your own question. That probably has something to do with why he wouldn't be on the list. Not that he wasn't good.
Eli had Hall of Fame moments. I wouldn't necessarily say he had a Hall of Fame career, because when I think of Hall of Fame careers, and when I think of
longevity,
a football player today, not only longevity, but when I think of a football player being a Hall of Famer, or any athlete in general, I think of mentioning a particular position and mentioning certain names. Like you talk about quarterbacks in the history of the position.
Yeah.
You're going to mention Brady. You're going to mention Peyton. You're going to mention Joe Montana. You're going to mention guys like Dan Marino. I feel you can tell the story of quarterbacks. And
oh, yeah, we forgot about
Eli
Marino.
Manning.
Elway.
A movie celebrity.
Elway, yeah.
Yeah, L.A. There's a lot you could mention, but again, you guys, it seems like you and Joe are focusing more on like the late '90s into the now.
Yeah, because I mean, the 3 best I've seen are, at one time, I thought Brett Favre was up there. But when I just saw Drew Brees kind of shattering records left and right every year, I'm like, wow, this guy has become one of the best, and he retired as widely regarded one of the best in the history of the sport. He's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer in a couple of years. Drew Brees, to me, he was almost like a point guard. You know what I'm saying? He just had command and control of those offenses, and when he spoke, you listened.
He played his entire career with one team, correct? Did I miss something?
No, he was drafted. So he was drafted by the San Diego Chargers.
Oh, he was at the Chargers. Okay, I forget
and
that.
Then
I kind of
he got
remember
released. Then he got released, and the Saints ended up picking him up.
Yeah,
and
I mean, he was with the Saints for most of his career, at least. Yeah, okay.
Right, he was in his prime with the New Orleans Saints.
Yeah, that was pretty. He was amazing. Like I remember watching a couple of his games and just seeing like how easily he
did a lot of good stuff. He did a lot of good stuff. Breeze did a lot of good stuff with charities off the field. I guess they all do. I mean, but he stood out for his, like, with the hurricane relief and everything.
Definitely.
Drew Brees, known for that as well. But a lot of these guys are. I mean, Tom Brady will be known for giving to charity. I guess Tom Brady will be known for his wife too, his ex-wife, marrying a model, But okay, so we talked about quarterback. Who do you think is your most, I don't know, favorite, or maybe even the most winningest or legendary team in your opinion in the NFL? I know I have my opinion.
That's a big one. I like that.
I mean, God, there are 3 or maybe even 4 that come to mind right away. The Steelers, with a lot of the legends that have played for the Black and Yellow, with Mel Blount, Joe Green, Jack Lambert, Troy Polamalu.
Oh, see, now he's going back a little bit.
Yeah,
Me and Joe Green, what years was that? He was there in the 70s, right?
Yeah.
Right. Jerome Bettis, Lynn Swan, guys like that. And all those guys I mentioned are Pro Football Hall of Famers. So
true.
That's one right there. 2, I'd say the Dallas Cowboys, because they're everywhere. It's either
my dad agrees
because
it's true.
It's either
my dad saw him in the Super Bowl.
It's either you're watching them because you dislike them or you love them.
Well, the ownership has something to do with that, but right.
Yeah, don't get me started.
So Pittsburgh, Dallas, number 3.
Green Bay's got to be in there.
I can't like Green Bay. I'm from Chicago. I can't like Green Bay.
Yeah, but we're one of the worst teams in history, pretty much.
Right now we are. Yeah, but I'm thinking
Green
back.
Bay.
The NFL was started basically with Chicago, even though they were a different name.
Right.
It was the Chicago ownership that still owns the team. Surprisingly, I'm really surprised that they still held on. But it looks like that might be coming to an end here pretty soon. But so number 3 is Green Bay. Interesting.
And then 4, I feel you can go in so many directions. You can say the 49ers, just due to the fact of everything I listed with the Steelers. A lot of legendary players have played for the 49ers. Steve Young, Ronnie Lott,
Montana,
who we mentioned, Jerry Rice, who's,
I almost said Eric Dickerson. Am I right? No,
he played for the Rams.
He was LA Rams. Yeah. Okay, he was in California. I was close enough.
Right. You could throw the Bears in there. Like, the Bears have had a lot of legendary names play.
They helped found the NFL. So George Papa Bear Hallis.
Yeah, and you look at their defense from 1985. I think there's 3 or 4.
Isn't it a shame? Speaking of the Bears and that year, isn't it a shame that it took so long to get Steve McMichael in there? I would have thought he would have been in years ago.
Yeah, that was sad.
Yeah,
that was sad.
Yeah,
I'm glad they finally did it before he passes away, but because he's in bad shape.
Right. Yeah, he is. Yeah, your thoughts go out to Mongo and his family, but you look at that 85 group, Mike Singletary, and he was Ray Lewis before Ray Lewis. I think Ray was just a bit more athletic.
I agree. I agree.
You mentioned Mongo. Who was the other one? I'm trying to think. He was a tackle.
Otis Wilson, Refrigerator Perry.
Yeah, Fridge Perry. I have his autograph.
Yeah, he's in bad shape too. Something bad happened to him too.
That's who I was thinking of. I was thinking of Richard Dent.
Oh, Dent. Yeah, Dent,
okay,
of
okay.
course. Don't forget Dent.
No.
Steve Fuller.
Yeah.
You want me to go down the whole line? I mean, offense and defense. I got them all.
Can you do the
Let's
Super
do it.
Bowl shuffle for
I
us right now?
can do that. I can even sing it.
Oh
But
no!
we're not talking about the Bears. Well, we could. I mean, the Bears shuffling.
Oh,
Wait. We're gonna get in trouble for copyright, right? I can't sing that song. Anyway,
Yeah.
but yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, well, it's the only year they won a Super Bowl. They've been to a Super Bowl a few times now, but they won in '85 or actually '86 with Peyton, obviously. And I love how they gave the ball to Perry. They didn't let Peyton do it. So whatever. We can go on and on about the Bears, but you feel their defense is legendary to make them only though number 4 in terms of one of your favorite all-time best teams in the NFL.
Listen, when you talk about as I like to refer to it, the blue bloods of the NFL, obviously the Steelers are going to be in there. That fan base travels. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've seen, a Steelers game on the road and you hear a roar. It's because the Steelers did something, and you see the terrible towels waving. Cowboy fans travel. 49er fans travel. Packer fans travel. Bears fans travel as well. But when I look at the Bears, they definitely have to be in that list of one of the legendary teams, one of the iconic teams in the sport. Believe it or not, they have the most Hall of Famers in the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Are you serious?
I knew they had a lot. I didn't know they had the most.
I honestly thought, like, because of the way the ownership treats a lot of them and like how they screw us over year after year, it just kind of like makes me think, like, I know that we've had amazing players, but it's just like we don't get our time to shine because of how they run things there.
Chris Zorich is in there, right? Isn't he in the Hall of Fame? He was pretty good with the Bears. I worked with him. That's why I just thought of him.
Oh, really?
And I thought he's in the Hall of Fame. I think so. But anyway, okay, so you gave us 4. And by the way, again, we're talking with Chris. He's a blogger out of New York and was in Chicago for a little while. And we're talking about the Bears, but we had 4 of the greatest teams. I just curious, what would be number 5? We'll do top 5.
Man. Okay, so who did I say again? I said the Steelers. I said the 49ers. I said
Packers.
the Cowboys. I said the Packers.
Yep, Green Bay.
Wow.
And then Bears.
So
now next one.
Wow, number 5.
I'd say
wow,
Patriots.
You guys are throwing fastballs. tonight,
Joe in the background's whispering something to me, but I was going to let you say it, but I agree with Joe.
Yeah.
I don't know if I agree with the order of this list. I like that they're on the list, but we just talked about Tom Brady's, to give you a hint. So what do you think?
Yeah, New England. I mean, look, you got to throw New England in there. I mean,
True.
Look, New England, I remember hearing that New England used to be really, really bad. And then Tom Brady came in and changed the entire fortune.
I was going to say, that's before Belichick and Brady were big.
We paid the Super Bowl '85. We played the Patriots. Remember?
Yeah, the old, the not so good Patriots.
The old ones, yeah.
That was before Bill Belichick, the coach. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah,
no, there you are.
With New England, they ran the 2000s, and you can't deny that every year or every other year, it just seemed like they were getting the Super Bowls.
They were
left and right. You saw what made Bill Belichick so great.
Wait, doesn't Brady have a ring on every finger, right?
Yeah,
except the thumbs, I think.
Pretty much. I mean, he won 6.
So wait, no, that's 6, right? So that would only be 3 and 3. Okay, think about that.
He won 6 with New England, and then he won that one with.
So
with
7. Sorry, so he could have a hand and a half with rings if he wanted.
Yeah.
The whole team gets them. You know that. I'm sure Chris knows that. Did you guys know that the whole team gets rings?
Duh, I knew
Even
that.
like the janitors get the rings too.
Yeah, the people that work at the stadium.
Yeah, everybody that works with the team gets a ring.
I've heard that.
Yeah, and I think what made Bill Belichick so great was the simple fact he took on coaching the underdogs. Guys who didn't get picked in the first round. I mean, look at what he did with Brady. Julian Edelman wasn't picked in the first round. Gronkowski wasn't picked in the first round. And even
some of the Hall of Famers, some of the best players in the NFL weren't picked in the first round.
Right. And even, taking on the guys who were labeled as hard-headed or divas. And, the perfect guy that comes to my mind is Randy Moss, because Randy was often disgruntled, and then Randy gets to New England and puts together the best season I've ever seen.
He really did.
Receiver.
He was kind of an underdog that year, I would say.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah, he definitely was. But yeah, I would say those. So I said the Steelers. I said
to go back to top
Cowboys.
5. Yep.
Yeah.
Wait, it was Steelers, Cowboys, Green Bay, Bears, New England. I guess that's a good.
Yeah, that's a solid list.
A good, list of 5 at least.
I mean, San Francisco also has to be in there.
That's true.
In the mix somehow, because they're a pretty legendary team as well.
So maybe the top 6 then he's got.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, if you want to go all the way to 10, we can. I mean, how many? There's not that many teams in the NFL, but top 10. I mean, there are, but I'm saying to make a top 10, that's a big majority of them.
Yeah, definitely.
So okay, so you got San Francisco, and we all kind of know why. I mean, there's so many. There's Super Bowls. There's Joe Montana.
Oh yeah.
You mentioned Jerry Rice. There's a lot of reasons for San Francisco. So that'd be number 6 on the list. What would be the next 3 then? We'll go to 10.
What?
Wow.
Now you're just ranking.
Yeah, go ahead. I mean, we got time. I want to hear the top 10 best NFL teams of all time.
Oh, this is an interesting one.
Well, he's a blogger. He's on the radio shows. And again, before you get into that, the shows that you're on, again, repeat them again for everybody if they want to find you.
Yeah,
where do they find Chris Simpson?
Well, you could follow me on Twitter at DailyBlitz_61.
Daily Blitz.
You can log on. Yeah, you can log on to the site, which is the DailyBlitz.blog. Become a subscriber today. Anything that gets posted to the website will also be sent to your email address as well.
Okay.
Every Monday, you can catch me on Monday Evening Quarterback, and every Monday night and Tuesday night, you can catch me on Prime Sports World with David On Point, CJ Hopkins, Israel Rivera, and Matt James. Wednesdays, you can catch me on The Betting Window on the Nerd Report Network and Twitch and Blog Talk and all that fun stuff. Thursdays, you can catch me on Snowman in the Morning, and Fridays, you can catch me on College Football Showdown on Prime Sports World.
On the morning on the Thursday show, where is that on terrestrial radio? Like with the tower too, or
he has his own little thing. So okay. I don't know exactly, but he just sends me the link to come on.
Oh, that's cool.
So you're basically in the modern world of digital, is what you're telling us.
Absolutely.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good way to get out there. So have you ever thought about going in a different direction with have you ever thought about branching out while keeping the other things going, but trying your own different genre? Or are you going to stick with football completely?
You going to stick with sports and football, or maybe try something totally different?
I think sticking with football, because
that's cool.
That's how I made my name. That's how I built my brand, and
no doubt.
Look, it doesn't hurt to put your eggs in other baskets and invest in other in other opportunities. But football's pretty much where it's been at for me.
He's got his niche.
I like that. That's smart.
Not only just sports, but specifically football. And speaking of that, again, we started with 5. We're going to make it 10. Your top 10,
yep.
The most awesome or the best or whatever you want to say, or in Chris's opinion, the 10 best teams, or what he feels are the 10 best teams in the NFL. We got to 6. So what do you think the last 3 are? 7, 8. Well, actually 4, 7, 8, 9, 10.
You talking that have won championships and who are just legendary?
Yeah,
like that.
Yep. I feel like there's more than just 5 or 6.
Yeah, I mean those are the 6. I think people will mention.
That's true.
On a consistent basis. I mean,
but we didn't say Indianapolis and why. We didn't say Miami with Marino.
You could put them in there.
He never really won.
You could put Indy in there. I mean, those Colts teams in the 2000s were fun. Peyton Manning, Marvin Harrison, Reggie Wade, Dallas Clark, Edgerrin James out the backfield. That I've seen. Yeah, they were fun. I mean, Tony Dungy was a good coach, and Dwight Freeney, who just ended up going into the Hall of Fame last year. So I could put them in there as well. You could say Denver, the Broncos.
Oh, yeah.
You didn't mention Denver.
with John Elway, Terrell Davis, Shannon Sharp, Ed McCaffrey. They had Orange Crush, and believe it or not,
the Orange Crush,
one of the guys who played on the Orange Crush defense, he was the first defender from there to go into the Pro Football Hall of Fame last year. I'm talking about Randy Gradishar, Simon Fletcher, Floyd Little, guys like that. Denver's on there. Okay, so that's what, 7 and 8.
Yep. So we got 9 and 10 now. What do you think?
You could throw the Giants in there because, again, the Giants have had a lot of legendary players, arguably who many consider to be the greatest to do it, in Lawrence Taylor.
Giants were great
for the New York Giants.
Maybe before Brady, Taylor was talked about quite often. True. Wait, is he in the Hall of Fame? He is in the Hall of Fame, right? Lawrence Taylor. Okay, just making sure. Making sure.
I don't know if you ever heard what Tom Brady said jokingly a few years ago about Belichick. He said, if you ever want to make Bill Belichick smile, just mention Lawrence Taylor.
No, I don't think I heard
Lawrence
that.
Taylor. Yeah, just mention Lawrence and everything. His whole mood changes. And I even remember.
Wait, you have to explain. We got a few minutes left. You got to explain the reasoning for that. What was the issue with Belichick and Taylor, or what was good between the two of them?
Well, Lawrence Taylor is arguably the greatest defensive player ever to do it. There were times when you hoped the Giants would go 3-and-out on offense just so you could see Lawrence Taylor play. And Bill Belichick was the Giants defensive coordinator at that time, and he raves about Lawrence Taylor even to this very day.
Sure.
I mean,
I knew the connection. I wanted you to tell the audience. I wanted you to tell them. I understand. I know they work together.
And look, I even remember a couple years ago, the Patriots were getting ready to play the Bears. And the media mentions to Belichick about Khalil Mack when he was still playing for the Bears.
Mack.
What he said was, Khalil Mack, he's being compared to Lawrence Taylor, and Belichick even had to say, look, we're not doing that. He's in a league by himself. So it's just an immense amount of respect between two legends. I mean, Lawrence Taylor is the only defensive player to win NFL MVP.
All right. So we'll go with we already talked about wait, do we have Patriots on that list?
Yeah,
we did. We got the Patriots. Yep. Okay. And then obviously we just said the Giants.
Don't you pay attention?
I guess I'm losing my mind. And Chris didn't hear this. I did have some health issues, so my brain is still not.
Yeah.
The blood's not flowing to the brain. We talked about this before. Anyway, so all right, but I do know where we're at. We did 9. So before we let you go and wrap it up, I want to hear. So we're going to be at the top 10 in Chris Simpson's opinion, the top 10 best, for whatever reason, NFL teams of all time. Number 10.
Oh, wow.
You want to go over the list again so you can think? We had the Steelers.
Let's go over the list.
Okay, we had the Steelers. We had
Cowboys.
Joe, help me out. Who?
Cowboys.
Green Bay. Bears. Didn't you say San Francisco as well?
Yeah. 6.
You had Denver. You had
the Giants.
Patriots. You had Giants. Who else?
And I'm missing one. Did we say? Oh, we said Patriots just now.
Yeah, I think that was the list.
No, that's not 9.
Green Bay.
Yeah, I didn't count.
I was just
Green
saying.
Bay,
there we go.
Yeah,
all right,
Green
so there's the summary. We're doing little brain teasers with the audience here. They're probably laughing, going, "Are these people paying attention to their own show?"
Testing my memory.
Yeah.
We are. We're wandering a little bit, but go ahead. So, okay, I gave you a little time. So we got 9, and here it is, the 10th best team of all time. And maybe not in that consecutive order, just in general, they're all the top 10 NFL teams of all time. Go ahead. What's your number 10, Chris?
I mean, from a legendary standpoint, you might have to throw Kansas City in there.
Ooh,
All
yeah, that's
right.
true. That's true.
Man.
I forgot
That's
about
out of left
them.
field. I wouldn't have thought of Kansas City.
The Chiefs have been around for quite some time.
I'd say it.
Well, they started winning
Chiefs have
Super
been
Bowls
around.
in the last 10 years, but okay, I guess we go with obviously the modern day, they are
Right.
pretty awesome.
Right, but,
I mean, if you don't hear about Taylor Swift and her boyfriend, Kelsey, then, you're not listening to the news,
Not only that, but, I just look at a lot of the legendary
Mahomes, I call him my homie. Mahomes is like legendary quarterback status. I'm sure he'll be in the Hall of Fame.
Look, Mahomes could retire today.
Oh,
And
easily.
I think he'd be a lead pipe lock to make the Hall of
Now
Fame.
he could compete definitely with Brady.
That's
not
what
as many
I was
wins,
I'm
but
not going that far.
no, he could compete with Brady.
Listen.
Okay, he'll definitely compete with Montana. He could compete with Unitas. He could compete with Favre. I don't know. I could throw all the ones we were talking about through the show, but he's definitely got some good qualities about him. I mean, he's pretty consistent if you've been watching him over the years.
Yeah.
Wasn't he the number one draft pick? I forget now.
No, he wasn't.
No, he wasn't. Okay.
I think he was 10th, if I'm not mistaken.
Or they switched and got him because 10.
Yeah,
there we go. He was all the way down to 10.
But I mean, a lot of legendary names have played for the team. Tony Gonzalez, Hall of Famer.
Yes.
Brian Wall.
The coaches,
a
couple of great coaches.
Rowe. Yeah, they've had great coaches. Like when I was growing up, they weren't all that great. So to see them in this light now, like, it's been fun.
Oh, there was definitely a drought between, like, say, I don't know, 96, 97 through like the early 2000s, no doubt.
Yeah.
Where they were like one of the worst teams. But, that's a long time ago, right? We're talking modern history, I guess.
That's true.
Right.
I mean, they've been great for sure. I'd agree with that. I'd put them in the 10 spot.
And again, not necessarily in that order. Or Chris, this is your list. Are you saying you would pick them and rate them in the order we did?
Yeah, I would.
So the number one team, he said first, was the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I'd agree.
Yeah,
I'd agree.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. I like their coach. I did like their coach. I like Terry Bradshaw. I'm just making sure I heard you.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Absolutely.
I'm going to go and bet on all these teams now.
Maybe not right now.
I'm allowed to do it. I'm going to take his recommendations. We're going to talk off the air about that stuff, okay? Because don't you do a betting show too? I recap the show again. The one show you do.
The betting line.
Talking about betting.
The name of the show is called The Betting Window.
Right.
Window.
Isn't the host?
Oh, should pay attention.
He's the one that's always betting. I do the analysis, pretty much what I've given you guys tonight.
He's going to win us some money at the casino tonight, Livy.
I would trust him. But,
We're going to dinner at the casino. We're going to just happen to be in the casino. They have a lot of sports betting there. It's legal in Illinois.
They throw it down your throat there.
Is it legal in New York to bet on sports?
It is.
Okay. So
I think it's legal just about everywhere. I think everywhere but Utah. If
I'm not sure North Carolina. I got to ask my brother.
Interesting.
Okay.
Yeah, or Florida. No, I know Florida is. Good question. Is it 50 state? It's not 50. There's like 2 or 3 that don't allow it.
I've
can't
never
remember.
bet on sports once.
But
And I don't
Joe's
think I
never
ever
bet
will.
on sports. It's time that we have a talk off the air with our guests. And thank you very much for being on the show. It was fun to have you
it was
on.
fun,
Interesting conversation. And like we said, we had something in common. Went to the same school back in the day.
Definitely.
Thanks,
And,
Chris.
Definitely.
Thanks for
you
being
guys
with us.
for having me.
And again, we could find you at. Go ahead and say your blog site again.
You can follow the website, which is thedailyblitz.blog, and you can enter your email address and become a subscriber today. Follow me on Instagram at thedailyblitz61. Follow us on Twitter at dailyblitz_61. And follow along. Got a lot of great content coming your way, and
Awesome.
I can't wait to reveal it to you.
Spell the website again. Just spell it out for everybody.
THEDAILYBLITZ.blog.
Got
Right
it.
on. We'll
Awesome.
be watching, man.
We're talking off the air for sure. Don't worry about that.
Oh, definitely.
Maybe not tonight, but maybe we'll see what we do. So if you don't mind a late night call. Anyway, thanks again. And Joe, thanks for getting him on the air. We were talking, and you just go to his blog and find out all about sports stuff, especially football. He's really specific with
He made
football.
football fun.
Yeah, he does. Thanks again for being on with us, Chris.
Thanks, Chris.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
thanks.
Have a
Thanks
good
for
one.
having me. Have a great rest of the show. Thank you, guys.
Yep.
You're
Well,
welcome.
and we're actually wrapping it up. I want to tell everybody to keep watching for us on, of course, IntellectualRadio.com, the website, all of the app podcast sites. Like, we are on iHeart, we are on Spotify, we're on them all. In fact, we're on one called Podtail I've never even heard of. I've said that a few times. But anyway, you'll find us. Just type in Bell&Company, BELLAND Company Radio, and you'll find us. And, of course, IntellectualRadio.com. But everybody, have a good one, and we'll talk to you next time here on Intellectual Radio. And
Bye.
Bell&Company. Bye.